Hi, I'm Nicholas Svensson. I'm President and Chief Executive Officer of Smart Technologies, headquarters located in Canada. And we are here to launch new products into the Indian market. And beside me we have...
Well, my name is Ruben Kamertz. I'm the Vice President for Smart for International. Smart has a presence in over 160 countries in the world, and we're very happy to be here today to strengthen our position in India.
Yeah, so what we're bringing, and we've learned a lot over the course of 37 years of being in business and the original inventors of the category, of course, but what we're bringing to the market and what we've brought around the world is a methodology, we call it our formula for success, on the implementation of technology in the classroom. So not only do we talk about interactive flat panels known as smartboards, and we are the original creators of the smartboard, but we talk about the software, we talk about the pedagogical practices that need to be employed. We talk about the whole ecosystem, including parents, administrators, IT people, ministers even. So we have a much more holistic view of what it takes to get educational outcomes that are positive. This is based on surveys, not just surveys, but international research from many renowned organizations such as ISTE, Cambridge, and other UNESCO and other organizations. So we feel that we have a good, credible message to bring, and we feel that the time is right here in India to bring it.
So when we look at the market in general, let me rephrase it. When we look at technology in education globally, what we will see is that there's been a lot of technology that has been installed in the education world, and we haven't necessarily seen the outcomes keep a trend, keep that same trend of increased investment. What we have discovered is that it's really important not just to install technology, but make sure that you think very thoroughly about which educational practices you're going to use, which software you're going to use, and that you don't forget that personal development of the teachers and continued learning and of the teacher community is really important, because that's really what is driving the difference. Mm-hmm. So overall, we see more and more in the international market technology going into schools, and when we see that this is accompanied by the correct professional development and investment into teaching practices, we see that this is resulting into great results.
And so when you work with Smart Technologies, you're buying into a company that understands this. And so we provide solutions, we design solutions with the end in mind, whether it be from the back room, remote monitoring and management of devices, to cloud software that helps teachers utilize individual devices, one per student devices. If it's group learning in the classroom, if it's the creation of content, if it's borrowing content and tweaking it, we do all of those things with a very holistic view of creating moments in the classroom that we call inspiring greatness. It's really, how can we create those light bulb moments when a student grasps a concept? That's what motivates us. And so we look at the whole problem, not just a single thing. We're known for the smartboard. We invented the smartboard, but there's so much more. We compete with these brands internationally today, and we win. And so we're not worried about that. We're also majority owned by Foxconn, and the world's largest electronic manufacturing company. So the type of competition we see, we understand it very well. We're not worried about that. Every market is competitive in its different ways, but we sell a solution, we sell value. And so we ask our customers to look at, are we comparing apples to apples, or are we comparing apples, oranges, pears, and plums? And so when we have the value discussion, very much we see customers choosing Smart. If you want simple transactions, we're happy to sell product as well. Of course, everybody is. But the competitive nature of the Indian market is not that unusual and not that different than other markets. We put a big focus on localization, of course, right? And so we also know that in the world, education is very personal, right? Whether it's at state level or country level, people like to control education. It is, of course, you're investing in your children and your next generation. And so we understand that. So we were working with domestic partners, local partners, to help provide the services and add-on services and value that are needed in order to be successful.
I take it more from the teacher standpoint. When you look at technology, what is really critical is that you don't overwhelm anybody who's going to use it. So what you will see, especially from us, is that intuitivity is becoming much more important. So yes, there is advancement in technology, and we talk about more pixels and more numbers of touch points. At the end of the day, we only have 10 fingers, right? So we believe it's much more interesting that multiple people or multiple students can have individual actions at the same time on a board. So this is where you will see technical evolution, that it becomes much easier for multiple people to use the board, so that you can use different types of learning as well.
So I think, let's just break down some of the things you made, because they're one of those competitive points that we talk about. So multi-touch, we don't talk about multi-touch. We have as many touches as anybody. What we talk about is multi-user, simultaneous multi-users. 2 people, 3 people working at the board doing different things with different tools. That's important to us. You take the multi-user experience all the way back to the remote management software. You take it into the cloud. Even the way that we implemented Google GMS through the EDLA certification process. Most of our competitors simply did a single user type of environment. We did a multi-user environment. And when you think about Android is really an operating system that is designed for single user devices, right? So doing a multi-user implementation where you can keep users sandboxed secure is a unique value proposition that we offer, right? So there's maybe I think I can think of one competitor that's getting close, but those are the types of things of how we implement these technologies. We do optically bonding, we do zero bonding, we have 4K, we have uniquely a 15-year story of upgradability, longevity. We have the lowest power consumption in the market for our products. So we think of the things that maybe not be the most exciting to talk about, but in this field of education technology, the latest whiz bang is not always the best for the end user. What you want is a consistent experience across multiple classrooms. What you want is a long-term value proposition that you can build on, and that's what we focus on. So we take these new developments, and that's how we implement them in a very kind of long-term, bigger picture. I think AI is incredibly powerful. It will come, whether people like it or not. Our focus on AI right now is at the edge of the network. So at the device level, what can we do at the device level? What can we do with lesson creation, quiz creation? So you have a lesson, you want to create a quiz, we'll use an AI feature to do that. So we use AI today at the edge of the network. We're also working with some companies to look at how we can do formative assessment of individual learners, right? And so, say you or I or Ruben, we have different ways of learning. How can we tailor the content and the lesson and the delivery of that to help you or me get a better result? And the better result isn't necessarily a higher score today, but making sure that we're successful in the future. Now, to do that, we have to be very cognizant of data privacy, and so that's one of the key areas that we're focusing now. How can we do these great things with AI without compromising data privacy? And also, when you point an AI engine to a source of information, you have to make sure that that source of information aligns with your values, what you think is the ground truth. And so that's the kind of key areas that we're working with. But today, we look at the edge of the network. What can we do in the classroom without sending data information back into the cloud?
It's a very difficult question to answer. Of course, the answer is always going to be as much as possible. But I think overall, about 1 out of 5 of every interactive boards in the world that have been sold are smart. I think that would be, of course,
a minimum.
Market share.
The top 5 we want to be.
Absolutely.
Oh no, we want to be top 2. Worst case, top 3. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this is, so we're going to start out like top 5. We appreciate that some of our competitors. We're hoping that people have learned what that looks like for them, and that when they see what we're offering, they go, yes, I'd prefer that. But we want to be top 2, top 3. We want to be in the same ranking as we are globally. So we have value, always value. We have very, very sophisticated solutions that are tailored for accessibility, special needs, STEM, right? We're not launching those here. We're launching our mainline product, the MX, and our entry-level product, the GX. So we very much sell the overall smart value, which is providing pedagogical value. the level of features and functions that we provide to help the teacher do their job is different. And so it really depends on what the customer is willing to pay for. You know, whether they just have a very, very simple situation where they want to do something very straightforward, or if they have a more sophisticated pedagogy that they want to use some of the embedded features with, then you go up a grade. Typically what we've found when people understand our portfolio, they go for the MX.
Well, we want to focus on the entire market because we believe we have solutions for each segment. We understand the differences between the different markets. This is very similar to what we see in other regions in the world. Of course, you have private education and public education, and those requirements, those needs are different. But we are addressing both. We have different solutions for different markets, and that's what.
This is where localization comes in as well. So we were talking earlier about the education technology assessment tool. So we can only provide you the framework on how to talk about getting a solution, but the solution has to be derived locally. So once you've identified the gaps, how are you going to solve it locally? If we have something that's appropriate, we're happy to sell that and deal with it. If there's something that's local that makes more sense, we're happy to work with those and integrate it. And so this is, you know, many, many years, and in fact decades of doing this in 160 plus countries. Education is the same everywhere in that it is very complex when you get down to the actual classroom and what's going on. So we understand that the localization, not just make in India, but localization of every aspect of it is critical to the success. And success to us is that the technology is being adopted and that you ultimately see an educational outcome that is improved, right? So when you just distill it down to that and you get rid of everything else, commercially, that's how you think about it. And we know commercially that if the product has been adopted, you have a loyal customer, you have a sticky value proposition, and we've seen that play out throughout the world. And so I believe that that's true here as well. We have within our hardware, right? So we have many different things. So at the very firmware level, at the very lowest level, we have things like simultaneous tool differentiation, which is how we do multi-user. Then we have technologies which are object recognition technologies. We have things like Smart Ink that are all working at the driver level. Because our solutions are purpose-built for education, we tie it into the cloud solutions to support a workflow. Say you want to distribute information to different or content or quizzes to different students, whether they be in groups or singular. Our hardware has that built in on top of the Google GMS services. So we have an application called IQ, and that IQ fits in perfectly with our cloud solution. It works also just locally, but it's really around workflow. Like, what is it that you're trying to do? And then the hardware and the software and the cloud software all work in concert to deliver that. And you can choose what tier you want to work at. The other thing that we do, because we're purpose-built, is we build very, very robust. And sometimes I kind of wonder if it's too robust, because it lasts a long time. But because we build such robust solutions, we have an upgrade path. So people that bought panel 9 years ago, 10 years ago, can upgrade to the latest Google GMS today. See very much the same thing that you're seeing today. And in fact, we just deployed, I think it was 9,000 upgrades to one customer a couple of weeks ago, right? So they're seeing great value. They bought something 10 years ago, and they're basically getting the same value and features as the people are buying new today.
Not only do we have hundreds of engineers and developers, which is unique in that segment, so that guarantees seamless integration of both hardware and software. We also have a large number of our employees that are former educators, and they keep us honest, right? They know what's important for education, and they know what's important for a teacher, and they make sure that we integrate that into our products, and that it just makes one seamless solution that is perfect for classroom use.
A great example, like on technical things, people talk about nits and brightness, and we think about eye strain and temperature. So if you're in front of the class and you're standing in front of a board and it's bright, you're going to have eye strain. And if it's hot, it's going to become stressful. So we take the teacher's comfort into consideration as well. And so those are kind of how we take the experience we have and apply it to the technology. And hopefully if you check our solutions out, you'll get a feel for what's different. It's very hard to explain when it just feels right. So we do best when we do an A and B comparison. You have a smart product or smart solution and you compare it to the competitors side by side. The contrast is quite significant. I would say that there's portions of the technology that are definitely patented and are proprietary to Smart. I think what's very difficult for anybody to copy or do is how the whole package comes together and gives you a solution that is, uniquely different. It's like Apple, and I know that's a great example everybody wants to use, but if you were to look at a spec sheet, you would buy a Samsung phone because the spec sheet's so much better. Yet the Apple phone is the most popular. And so you have to ask yourself, is it just the technical specs or is it the rest of it that matters? All right. So we like to play in the rest of it. Will we be cutting edge? We have done cutting edge solutions. We still do cutting edge solutions. But we always have to think about what is the pedagogical value and how does this add value to the outcome? Right. That's how we think about it.
So Make in India is important, and we understand very well. Part of our improvement or in our investment is, of course, making sure that our product is made in India. And what we try to do is not just, I would say, pour a sauce of Make in India over a product that isn't necessarily made here. We're trying to make significant investments so that a significant portion of the product is being made here, but also designed here. I wouldn't limit it to just manufacturing. It's really critical that we're able to support our products and our customers locally. So that means we will have local or localized investment into things like professional development, on-site support, and continued development of content, local content, in order to assist with that. So for us, Make in India is a start. It's definitely not the end.
Yeah, Make in India fits very well into the philosophy that you need to localize education. Now, Make in India focuses primarily on making the actual devices. We're currently in discussions, quite advanced discussions with several different suppliers. I can't tell you who yet because we're still negotiating. But our parent company or a company with majority, they already have a very large presence in India. So we feel very confident about our plans, and we'll be making announcements within a month or two of where we're going to be building and with who.
For more information, please visit www.ncnonline.net.